Welcome to the Honorable Ministers of the Council, radio listeners via St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM, respective radio stations island-wide, Tel TV Plus Channel 15, and online viewers. I'm Rolika Roach, and welcome to the live Council of Ministers press briefing for today, Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. At this time, I would like to invite the Honorable Minister of Justice, Natalie Tacklin, to address you. Minister Tacklin, you have the floor.
Good morning, Rolika. Good morning to my colleague, Minister of Romy, and good morning to the people of St. Martin. As always, thank you for tuning in and being here with us. The Ministry of Justice remains busy on all fronts. Every week, across every department, our teams are working to strengthen public safety, improve services, modernize our systems, and invest in our people. Today, I'd like to share some of those updates with you. But before I do that, I'd like to take a moment to recognize an important occasion that is coming this Friday, July 17th, Justice Day. While the day is recognized internationally as a day that highlights the importance of justice and the rule of law, for us, it is also an opportunity to recognize the people who make those principles a reality every day. Behind every investigation, every immigration application, every border inspection, every court matter, and every emergency response are dedicated professionals committed to serving this country. This Friday, as part of the yearly celebrations, we will begin with our annual church service, followed by the Justice Parade. The parade will begin at approximately 10:30 in the morning, departing from the Methodist Church, continuing along Front Street, through Emma Plain, onto the E.C. Richardson Street, and concluding at the Phillipsburg Police Station. I would like to encourage the public to come out and support the officers, civil servants, justice professionals, and justice partners who dedicate themselves to serving our country. Their work is not always visible, but it is crucial. Motorists should also be aware that there will be temporary road closures along the parade route, and we thank the public in advance for their patience and their cooperation. So once again, that was this Friday, starting at 10:30 a.m. for the parade. While speaking about our people, I would like to recognize the next generation. This month, the ministry welcomed a group of students participating in the Business Outreach and Placement Program. These students have been placed across several departments, including our Human Resources departments, Finance, Judicial Affairs, our Front Office, and the Court of Guardianship, where they will gain practical workplace experience while contributing to the daily work of the ministry. As a ministry, investing in young people isn't simply about providing an internship. It's about opening doors, exposing them to public service, and hopefully inspiring some of them to become future professionals who will continue strengthening our justice system. The Court of Guardianship in particular welcomed two of these BOP interns who will assist with community outreach and public education initiatives, helping the department expand awareness of its very important work. That commitment to prevention and education continues beyond the workplace. Last week, the Court of Guardianship hosted participants from the UJIMA summer program, providing young people with an interactive session on children's rights, the juvenile justice system, the consequences of offending, and the importance of making positive life choices. We often speak about enforcement, but one of the best ways to reduce crime is by reaching our young people before they ever come into conflict with the law. Helping them understand their rights, responsibilities, and the consequences of their decisions is one of the strongest forms of prevention. They will also continue public outreach this month through a 3-part legal education series in partnership with prominent women. These sessions will cover topics including child abuse and neglect, parental authority and custody, divorce, child support, and the services available to families through the court. These are practical issues that affect many households, and we encourage members of the public to participate. Last month, the Court of Guardianship also sent out its first Child Safety Code newsletter, which aims to strengthen how professionals respond to suspected cases of child neglect or abuse. The newsletter provides professionals who work with children with updates on the Child Safety Code and other useful resources. I encourage any professional working with children to send an email or to reach out to the Court of Guardianship, or you can send an email to voogdijraad@sxm@gmail.com, which is VOOGDIJRAADSXM at gmail.com in order to subscribe to the newsletter. But you can also, of course, reach out to the Court of Guardianship directly if that Dutch word that I read was very complicated to spell. Turning now to the Immigration and Border Protection Services. Last week marked a major milestone for the ministry with the official launch of our new Foreigners Management System, FMS, a significant step forward in the digital transformation of our immigration services. For years, immigration applications relied heavily on manual and paper-based resources. Today, we're moving forward with a centralized digital platform that allows applicants to create an account, submit their applications online without losing these documents, upload supporting documents electronically, and most importantly, monitor the progress of their application from wherever they are in the world. This is about more than introducing a new piece of technology. It's about making government services work better for our community. It's about improving the experience of the public, reducing paperwork, increasing efficiency, strengthening security, improving our record keeping, and providing a more transparent service for applicants, employers, and legal representatives. We also recognize that with any new system comes questions, and we encourage the public to visit the frequently asked questions section available through the new FMS portal, where many common questions have already been answered. If additional assistance is needed, our teams remain available to provide support. I also want to remind the public that all new residence permit applications and renewals must now be submitted through the new foreigner management system, and that can be done at ibps.stmartingov.org. In addition to that, we appreciate everyone's patience as we transition into this new way of doing business, but we are confident that this investment will greatly improve immigration services over the long term. Within our Staff Bureau and Judicial Affairs divisions, work also continues internally to strengthen the ministry. The Human Resources team is carefully reviewing the latest decisions that have been received from our Objection Committee. This has to do with the placement process for our justice workers, to ensure that the placement matters are processed accurately and fairly. At the same time, preparations are well underway for Phase 2 of the personnel placement process, with strategic planning already taking place to support the rollout of Phase 2. These internal improvements are essential to building a more effective ministry. Our Customs Department also continues to demonstrate why vigilance at our borders remains so important. During a recent cargo inspection operation, customs officers successfully intercepted firearms that had been concealed inside modified items, along with a significant quantity of suspected marijuana. Both were immediately seized and transferred to the appropriate investigative authorities. Operations like these rarely make the headlines until something is found, but they happen every day. They remind us that border security is one of our country's first lines of defense against illegal firearms, narcotics, and organized criminal activity. I want to commend our customs officers for their professionalism, vigilance, and continued dedication to protecting St. Martin. Our police force also continues to remain highly active across the island. Over the past 2 weeks alone, officers responded to serious incidents, including a shooting investigation, a death investigation, a robbery in which a suspect was quickly apprehended and the victim's stolen property was recovered, and the proactive operations that resulted in the arrest of 5 individuals and the seizure of a firearm before it could be potentially used in criminal activity. These actions demonstrate that our police force is not only responding to crimes after they occur, but also preventing crime before it happens through intelligence-led operations and proactive patrols. The police also continue to intensify traffic enforcement across the island, with a particular focus on motorcycles and scooters. More than 100 vehicles were inspected, numerous violations were identified, and several scooters were impounded for offenses including operating without helmets, licenses, insurance, inspections, road tax, and other legal requirements. Let me be very clear. These enforcement actions are not only about issuing fines, they are about saving lives. Far too many complaints continue to be received regarding reckless riding, excessive noise, speeding, and dangerous behavior on our roads. These operations will continue because everyone deserves to travel our roads safely. However, enforcement alone is only part of the solution. Whether you're driving a car, riding a scooter, or crossing the street, we all have a role to play in protecting one another. Let us choose responsibly over recklessness and work together to make our roads safer for everyone. Then, moving to our detention sector reform program. I'm excited to share that work continues on the construction of the new Point Blanche prison, and they have successfully commenced. The contractor is currently finalizing the site camp, which will include site offices and a new parking facility for staff and visitors. This groundwork lays the foundation for the stages ahead. This initial phase is a standard and critical component of large-scale infrastructure projects, ensuring that all systems, resources, and safeguards are fully in place prior to full construction. UNOPS continues to actively manage progress in close coordination with partners, with a focus on maintaining delivery, efficiency, while ensuring full compliance with quality, safety, and oversight standards. As per the program presented by the contractor, upcoming activities will include the demolition of an existing warehouse within the prison, which will commence this week, followed by the clearing of vegetation to the north of the site. Further updates on project milestones will be shared as work progresses, and we will be sharing pictures and videos, since we also recognize that a lot of what happens on the top of the hill in Point Blanche is not in the eye of the public, so those will be following in the coming days. In closing, I think this week's updates reflect something important. Justice continues to be much broader than enforcement alone. It is investing in our youth, modernizing government services, strengthening our institutions, protecting our borders, educating families, preventing crime before it occurs, and when necessary, it is enforcing the law professionally and fairly. That work continues every single day across this ministry, and I want to thank all of our justice workers for their continued dedication and service to the people of St. Martin. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Tacklin, for your opening remarks. At this time, I would like to invite the Honorable Minister of Public Housing, Spatial Planning, Environment, and Infrastructure, Patrice Gumbs Jr., to address you. Minister Gumbs, you have the floor.
Good morning once again. Good morning to my colleague, Minister of Justice, and to those viewing and listening public. I'm pleased to share a few updates, and the first of which is the installation of the pumps at our Garden Pump Station. As stated 2 weeks ago, one of the 2 pumps have arrived on the island and is currently being installed. We anticipate it to be ready for testing within the next 2 weeks. The second pump is scheduled to arrive at the end of this month, July, and will be installed on Pond Island in the area known as the Vrommy Yard. The installation is expected to be completed at the end of August. We are still on track to have both pumps fully operational for peak hurricane season. As it relates to hurricane preparation, within the coming weeks, the ministry will announce its hurricane cleanup plan. Please note that over the last 3 weeks, the schedules for waste collection by the haulers ahead of peak season have been published. These schedules outline what can be dumped, when and where, and collection times. The public landfill remains free of charge, and if you have missed the designated time of your hauler, especially for bulky items, including couches, fridges, stoves, please don't dispose of these on the roadside or at the side of a bin. Access to the landfill, as stated, remains free. Make the effort to bring them to the public landfill. Every effort made means less trash on the side of the road and a cleaner St. Martin. Remember, it takes all of us. I want to now turn to Mullet Bay and provide the public with an update. As stated last week, the Court of First Instance has confirmed that Mullet Bay Beach is public. I want to underscore that Sun Resorts NV maintains ownership of the land behind the beach. That has not changed, and that property has always been privately owned. As the beach isn't clearly defined, this presents a challenge for the vendors on Mullet Bay. The court has also ruled that they are not there lawfully. Next week, along with the Minister of TEAT, we'll be meeting with representatives of Sun Resorts to discuss the way forward, especially as it relates to the vendors. And what is critical for government is defining the boundaries of the beach and ensuring that ownership of the land does not obstruct the legal right of access to the beach. As this process continues, we promise to keep you, the public, informed. There are currently 6 open vacancies within the ministry. The vacancies had an original deadline of today, July 15th, but will be extended until July 31st. The public is advised to visit the ministry and my ministerial Facebook page or the employment page of the government's website to find more information and apply. And of course, the vacancies are and will continue to be published in the newspaper. I want to remind the public, of course, of the VROMI QR code launched in January last year. This is the ministry's efforts to bring your concerns closer to the ministry and for follow-up. This of too will be shared on our relevant Facebook pages as well. We look forward to welcoming those persons to the Ministry of VROMI team as they apply for the reference vacancies. And with that, we've come to the end of our notices for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Gomes, for your open remarks. As there is no presence of any media partners, this does bring us to the end of the live Council of Ministers press briefing for today, Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. Honorable Ministers of the Council, radio listeners and online viewers, this brings us to the end of the live Council of Ministers press briefing for today, Wednesday, July 15, 2026. For rebroadcast, tune in to stmartingov.org, St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM, Tel TV Plus Channel 15, the official Facebook page of the Government of St. Martin, and YouTube channel, Government of St. Martin. For video on demand, log on to the Government of St. Martin's YouTube channel. On behalf of the Department of Communication and the Government of St. Martin, I'm Rolika Roach and wishing you a pleasant day further.